First of all, I'd like to give a shout out to Kevin David Williams over at Streamworks. Um, he's the person that I got the first video from, and my cat wants to thank him as well, obviously. Uh, it's the veil is crumbling, and it is all this material comes around and the dust settles. I want people to actually think logically at what's really going on because what you're seeing here is shameful. Okay? You have a person that is deceased that was murdered by police. Okay? He was shot. Okay? Even if he was just injured, he should be taken and being cared for, not just left out to be gazed upon. Okay? Doesn't just have to do with the violation of violence, doesn't just have to do with, it's just disrespectful, man. How are they just going to leave somebody out there? I mean, people know what happened. They didn't need a huge investigation. They didn't, I mean, what were they doing? Dusting for prints? Let's get it real. They completely had roads blocked off, taped up. I mean, there was a huge gathering of police. I mean, it's unnecessary. And one of the things that you're going to have to come to grips with is that this was a white gentleman that got shot. Okay? That this is a piece of the puzzle that has to be calculated. Okay? That we are all under the power of that authority and the discretion behind a gun. Okay? These protesters, and several of them have nothing more to say than look at what's going on. This is a situation. And there are people within different factions and personalities that are very extreme. But at the core basis of this situation, you have people of one race protesting for another race. So whatever the media wants to spin on some things, there's some people that actually believe that people deserve dignity and don't deserve to be just murdered. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that if he was violent and he was killing people and doing all kinds of crazy stuff that that sometimes that isn't necessary. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is we have another example of an extreme amount of force, a fatal amount of force actually, that might not have been necessary. And it stems back to police training. Doesn't stem back to defunding. There's a lot of ignorance in the world, and there's a lot of people that take advantage of this ignorance at this point in time in our lives. And we are not, I'm telling you, we're not going to get past this unless we get together. And I applaud these people protesting because they're there for a reason. They're exposing it, and it's not for an agenda. It's to expose what has actually taken place, and it's basically just an assault on humanity and how we treat one another. That's really what it is. It's a disgust with what humanity has done with one another. I mean, if the guy was off his meds, and I mean, he might not have been in the rational mind, but I mean, I wasn't personally there, and I'm definitely not trying to give an account of the details that took place or the circumstances. I'm talking about the protest. We're going to look at that aspect of it because I don't have the details yet. But not everybody is trying to make a divide by race because, as you can tell, a lot of different races come together in the eyes of this atrocity.
Sorry for the lax detail on the description. I've actually been live on my personal page for the last 2 hours. That's Kevin David Williams. You can catch the interview with the witness that I did and all that. And there's a body on the ground. Still?
He's been dead for hours.
You don't got to tell me. I've been here for hours. He's still on the ground, still dead.
Whereabouts that is?
That crowd? That's the body.
That's all that is?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go get the body.
Yeah.
Why did they shoot him?
He was having a mental health issue. He's a homeless guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fucking call the police.
That's the details we got right now. Be safe. Yeah, people driving by got their cameras out because they can't believe that A, he's still on the ground, and B, that this shit's even happening. Yeah, I'm on the corner of 92nd and Holgate now. If you're familiar with the neighborhood, there's the AM/PM, there's the 7-Eleven. There's Grant's New York Pizza and Subs, which has some of the best fucking food in the hood right here. Here's some people doing some mutual aid food and stuff. Lines of this investigation. So, yeah, that's what's going on here, guys. I'm not gonna.
We murdered someone! Fuck you!
I'm gonna go home real quick and I'm gonna come back, recharge some stuff. The body's been on the ground for a couple hours now. I got here sometime after 10, and I'm gonna walk up to the street and give you guys a view of exactly how many vehicles are involved in this mess that's going on right now.
Take another one.
They're still letting more and more people. This van's cruising around, and this van is definitely undercover cops in it. This is the amount of vehicular. I don't know if you can see this right now, but this is a lot of vehicles. The body is on the ground right over there with that crowd of people is over there. That's where the body is.
You know, I'm all about love and understanding, and that the only way that we're going to survive and progress as humans as a race, not split off into little sections, because that's what's happening systematically in an agenda. And for the ignorant, the only way that we're going to survive this is love and understanding. I have said it all my life. You look into this, you're not going to find a whole lot of news on CNN about it. You're not going to find a whole lot of news on Fox about it. You know, when I tried to look it up, I could only really find stuff on local. And, you know, proportionately, that's what a lot of this protesting is, trying to bring to light and attention to. You've got to become aware of what's being done in reality. It's not just a specific race targeted. It's like every race that's targeted. Think about it. Just think about it. We are all human beings, and we're all here together. And most problems can be solved and dealt with through love and understanding. Now, I do get that there are mentally sick people, evil people. I get that. But on a majority, it's not that way. So stop having this fear and this hate being preached to you come out of you.
News we mentioned at the top of the show in southeast Portland. Protesters are in Lents Park after police shot and killed a man who officers say had a gun. You can see from Sky 8 earlier this afternoon the line of officers around the crime scene and dozens of people protesting.
This is a familiar sight in Portland. We have seen unrest for nearly a year now since the death of George Floyd. We do have team coverage starting with Christelle Coomway. And Christelle, walk us through what we know happened today.
Now we are seeing protesters blocking the intersection of Holgate and 92nd, and that's of course where Lents Park is. Earlier today, a section of the park was closed after police shot a man here this morning. There was a massive response. We saw dozens of units from different agencies out here, and as of right now, some are still on the scene.
The call came Friday morning. Officers went to Lents Park to check on a report of a white man pointing a gun in the park.
The officers arrived and they contacted